Good morning, class. Today, still yet to come. Are there anyone still yet to come? Arika, kindly change your name to your roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Lavanya, kindly change your name to your roll number. Okay. So today we'll be seeing fourth unit, second part first. That is nothing but concurrency control. If you see a syllabus, you'll be able to find uh, okay. Second part of your fourth unit is concurrency control. Today we'll see second part. Tomorrow we'll see the first part. Okay. So concurrency control the main motto of your concurrency control is basically to improve the concurrency of particular transactions, right? So that n number of transaction can execute parallelly, or what you say it as concurrently. Okay, now when we execute transactions concurrently, okay, it should satisfy the asset properties, that is nothing but atomic property, isolation property, consistency, right? The starting three properties it should satisfy, that is atomicity. Okay, that is nothing but either it should execute totally or it should not at all execute. Second one is isolation, so such that, wow, if one transaction, if three transactions are running simultaneously or parallelly, they should not know the data of some other transaction. Okay, and third one is consistency. Okay, so before execution of transactions or a particular schedule, okay, and before executing and after executing, the database should be consistent. Okay, that is the main motto of your concurrency control. So first we'll see the log based, what are the basic protocols all used. We have seen that it is log based protocol, timestamp based protocol, validation based protocol, or optimistic concurrency based protocol. Then you have multiple granularity. That's it for your examinations. These last four are not there. It is for it is just in textbook. Okay, now first we'll go to your log based protocol. Okay, so now in log based protocol, I've already said that you will be having two locks. Okay, that is nothing but in which your particular transactions or schedules are running. That is nothing but in shared mode or in exclusive mode. Okay, you have two locks, that is shared lock and exclusive lock, basically. Okay, now what do you mean by shared lock, or what do you mean by exclusive lock? Basically, was shared lock is nothing but whenever you're performing a read operation, okay, then you can use a shared lock, because whenever one transaction performs read operation, suppose on item A, okay, on item A, whenever a particular transaction, suppose let me take T1, okay, and transaction T2, okay. Now these two transactions are running. First transaction T1 is performing read of A, okay. Then after some time again transaction T2 is performing read of A again. Suppose let me take both are performing read of A. Okay, so at the first time when transaction T1 is performing read of A and transaction T2 is performing after some time read of A, there is no conflict, because they are reading, they are not writing anything. That is not what, they are not updating the database with anything. Okay, since they both are reading, so there is no conflict. At such mode, you can use shared lock every time. Okay, so you can apply your shared lock. That is nothing but lock hyphen s. Okay, and same thing with T2. Now, when do you perform exclusive lock or exclusive? When do you use exclusive mode? Is basically whenever you have conflicts. And what are the different conflicts? You had read write read, and write write. Okay, so in such conditions, you have exclusive lock. Okay, and whenever you have an exclusive lock on a particular data item which is locked by transaction T1, this you cannot have the same lock. Okay, you cannot have exclusive lock or shared lock on the same data item by different transaction. We'll see that. Okay, now this is the compatibility. Okay, shared is nothing but if the previous example what I've said, if transaction T1 is reading A, transaction T2 also can read A. That's what two transactions can have shared lock simultaneously on same data item. True. Okay, next is exclusive lock. Okay, once you give exclusive lock to one transaction, can it be shared with other? No, basically. And same thing with exclusive, shared exclusive and exclusive exclusive. Okay, if you have a shared lock on one particular data item, you can't have exclusive on it again. Okay, if you have exclusive lock on one data item, then again you cannot have exclusive on same data item by different transaction. Okay. So this is one example where I'm giving a shared lock on read A, okay, and unlocking it. And why I'm giving shared lock? Because it is only reading operation, not write operation. Whenever you have a write operation, write read, okay, or read write, then you have to give a exclusive lock. Okay, so since I'm only reading data item A, okay, I'm locking that particular data item, okay, with shared lock, reading the data item, unlocking it. Then again locking the data item B using shared lock, reading it item, and unlocking it, and displaying the value. Okay, so this is what much more simple. Just reading the item, okay, of lock of item A and item B. So for that we are using just shared lock. Okay. Now suppose you have one more example here. Okay, here what I'm doing, I'm applying exclusive lock on data item B, writing it. Okay, I mean not writing it, I'm calculating it, then writing the data. Okay, I'm first calculating it and then writing the data. And meanwhile, what happens? It gets interleaved. Okay, now T4 is running. Till now T3 was running, it got interleaved. Now interleaved or preempted. Now T4 is running. Okay, then lock, we are performing shared lock on item A. We have read the value. Now it is trying to perform lock shared on item B. Now will it be done? Okay, will it be done? Basically no. Why? Because you have already performed exclusive lock on data item B. So you cannot perform any lock. Here we can see the compatibility. Here we can see the compatibility. Okay, if you have performed exclusive lock on one item, okay, on the same item you cannot perform shared lock. That's what it is false here. Okay, now after this, now suppose after this, if it gets interleaved, okay, and we try to perform exclusive lock on A, will this happen? No. Okay, so indirectly what situation is coming here? T3 what it does, it is using exclusive lock, writing the data. Okay, then after that what happens? T4 has taken shared lock. Okay, then it's trying to lock a data, or data item which is actually held by T3. Okay, and what T3 is doing, it is actually requesting for a data which is held by T4. Now this is indirectly saying that it's condition of deadlock. Okay, and even starvation. Then next is your 2PL. Okay, now I have said you all in 2PL, if you all go through your notes, we have two phase. Okay, one is growing phase and one is shrinking phase. Okay, now in growing phase what we do, we start obtaining all the locks. Okay, until when? Until a point called as lock point. Until a point called as lock point. Okay, And after that lock point, you start releasing all the locks. Okay, and the condition is, if once you start locking, you cannot do any unlock in between. Okay, once you start locking, suppose I'm locking item A, item B, item C, then I'm unlocking item B or item A, it cannot be done. Okay, if you start unlocking it, you have to continuously unlock it. Okay, then you won't be given any data items to lock. That is the condition of strict. And someone has just now raised hand, I don't know why. Okay, that is nothing but strict to PL. Okay, concept of strict to PL. If you start locking a data item, okay, unless until you want to stop your transaction, okay, you have to unless until you want to stop your transaction, keep on locking it. The one time where you want to stop your locking, okay, and you want to start unlocking, that is nothing but you have to complete your transaction unlocking. Okay, and that is nothing but called as shrinking phase. Okay, and once you start unlocking, you cannot lock the data again. Next is regress 2PL. Okay, till now we have seen strict 2PL. Okay, next is regress 2PL. Okay, here it speaks that here all the locks, whatever locks is performed, okay, it should be either held until it is committed, basically. Okay, previously we were saying that you perform all the lock-in, okay, and after the lock point you need to unlock everything. Here it says until unless your data either commits or it either aborts. Okay, you have to keep that particular locking till then. Okay, after that, after doing commit, then you unlock. That is nothing but regress 2PL locking. Okay. Next is, now this graph based protocol I have said in class, as if I remember, but that is not there in your syllabus. Okay, next is timestamp based protocol. Okay, I'll share one more slide for that. It's not sharing. Do you anyone know why it is not sharing the next data? To share one more PPT with you. It's not taking it. It's not even resuming the data. Harshita is there? Harshita is there?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your roll number, ma'am?
30, ma'am.
30. Just a minute. I'll. It's not even happening. All screen got paused. Just a minute. I will make Harshita as co-hosting. What is happening? Okay, Harshita, I'm giving you the control of the screen. Does anyone know how to make a co-host here? Because my screen is getting stuck. I mean, this has paused totally. I don't know. Okay, I'll just leave this meeting and come back again. Give me a minute.
Okay.